I never thought I'd end up sitting in a courtroom, staring at a woman who had made my life miserable for nearly 2 years. But there she was, straight-backed, chin raised, arms crossed like she owned the building. Karen Whitmore, president of the Oak Ridge Estates Homeowners Association, and the most entitled human being I'd ever met. Now, before you think this is just another HOA dispute story about grass length or mailbox colors, let me be very clear. This was about fraud. This was about forgery. And this was about a woman so convinced she was untouchable that she committed a felony inside a courtroom. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where it all started. I moved into Oak Ridge Estates because it was quiet. Tree-lined streets, brick homes, retirees walking dogs, kids riding bikes. The HOA existed, but at first it seemed normal. That illusion shattered the day I met Karen. She knocked on my door exactly 3 days after I moved in. Not rang, knocked. Hard. I opened the door to find a middle-aged woman with perfectly styled blonde hair, pearl earrings, and a clipboard clutched like a weapon. She didn't smile. She didn't introduce herself. She just looked past me into my house. "You haven't submitted your architectural compliance form," she said. I blinked. "I'm sorry, what?" She sighed loudly, already irritated. "I'm Karen Whitmore, HOA president. Any exterior modifications require approval." "I haven't modified anything," I replied. Her eyes narrowed. "You replaced the mailbox." I stared at her. The old one was rusted through. She flipped a page on her clipboard. "Still requires approval." That was the moment I realized something was wrong. Not because of the rule, but because of the tone. This wasn't about rules. This was about power. Over the next few months, Karen fined me for everything. Mailbox placement, trash can visibility, a non-approved shade of brown on my fence repair. Every violation came with a fee. Every dispute I raised was denied. Every email I sent was ignored, until one day I received a certified letter. Inside was a notice stating that I owed $7,500 in unpaid HOA fines. I laughed, out loud. Then I saw the last page, a document titled, HOA Board Agreement, signed by homeowner. My name was printed neatly at the bottom, and above it, a signature. My signature, only it wasn't mine. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at that page for nearly an hour. The loops were wrong. The slant was wrong. The pressure marks were wrong. Someone had tried to copy my signature. But whoever did it had never actually seen me sign my name. My hands started shaking. Not fear, anger. Pure boiling anger. I emailed Karen immediately. Attached the document. One sentence. "This is not my signature." Her response came back within 5 minutes. 5? "You signed during the emergency board review. Records are clear." "Emergency board review?" "I'd never been to one," I replied. "I've never attended a board meeting." Her reply was colder. "Then perhaps you should review your memory before accusing the HOA of misconduct." That's when I knew. She wasn't bluffing. She believed she could get away with it. I hired an attorney the next day. He looked at the document for 30 seconds before saying, "This is forged." I exhaled. He leaned back. "But proving who forged it is the real battle." We filed a dispute. The HOA escalated. Karen escalated harder. They filed a lien against my house. Then came the lawsuit. Karen was suing me for unpaid fines, using the forged document as evidence. That's when my disbelief turned into resolve. If she wanted court, she was going to get it. The courtroom was quiet when Karen walked in. She wore a tailored navy suit and carried a thick binder. She looked calm, confident, smug. She didn't look at me, not once. Her attorney spoke first, presented the agreement, presented the signature, presented Karen as a diligent HOA president forced to take legal action. Then my attorney stood, and everything shifted. He submitted 3 samples of my verified signature. Mortgage documents, driver's license records, bank filings. Then he asked the judge for permission to question Karen directly. The judge nodded. Karen smiled. "Big mistake. Mrs. Whitmore," my attorney began calmly. "Did you personally witness my client sign this document?" Karen didn't hesitate. "Yes." "Where?" "At the Oak Ridge HOA office." "What date?" She answered instantly. Too instantly. He nodded. "And you're certain?" "Absolutely." My attorney turned to the judge. "Your Honor, may I approach?" He placed a different document on the stand. Karen's eyes flicked down. Just for a second. Too fast for anyone else to notice. But I saw it. Her confidence cracked. That document? It was the HOA office security log. The office had been closed on the date Karen claimed. No staff, no access, no meeting. The room went silent. The judge leaned forward. Karen swallowed. And that's when everything started unraveling. The courtroom felt different now. Heavier, tighter, like the air itself was holding its breath. Karen sat rigid in her chair, fingers clenched together so tightly her knuckles had turned white. That smug confidence she walked in with? Gone. Replaced by a brittle stillness, the kind people wear when they realize they're standing on thin ice. The judge adjusted his glasses and looked directly at Karen. "Mrs. Whitmore," he said evenly, "you are still under oath." "Yes, Your Honor," she replied, her voice sharp but just a touch higher than before. My attorney stood again. "Your Honor, at this time, we'd like to introduce expert testimony." A man in a gray suit walked forward and took the stand. He wasn't dramatic. He wasn't theatrical, which somehow made him terrifying. He introduced himself as a certified forensic document examiner with over 20 years of experience analyzing handwriting for courts, federal agencies, and law enforcement. Karen shifted, just slightly. The expert held up the document, the forged agreement. "Signatures," he began calmly, "are like fingerprints. Even when someone tries to copy them, they leave behind patterns. Pressure inconsistencies, stroke hesitation, unnatural line breaks." He placed the document next to my verified signatures. Then he turned to the judge. These two signatures were not written by the same person. Karen inhaled sharply. "But there's more," he continued. He pointed to the forged signature. "This one shows signs of slow, deliberate tracing. The pen hesitates here and here, which indicates the writer was copying from a reference." The courtroom murmured. Karen's attorney stood up. "Objection! Overruled," the judge said immediately. The expert wasn't done. The person who forged this signature applied downward pressure consistent with someone attempting to appear confident, but lacking muscle memory. He paused. "Which tells me something else." Karen looked up. The expert met her gaze. The forger believed this document would never be challenged. The silence that followed was deafening. Karen crossed her arms. Defensive, angry. The judge turned to her attorney. "Counselor," he said slowly, "do you have a response to this testimony?" Her attorney hesitated, just for a second. "No, Your Honor." That hesitation spoke volumes. The judge leaned back in his chair. He didn't look angry. That was worse. He looked disappointed. "Mrs. Whitmore," he said, "please step forward." Karen stood. Her heels echoed loudly against the courtroom floor. The judge slid the documents closer. "I want you to sign your name," he said, "right here, 3 times. Karen froze. I already provided." "Now," the judge said firmly. Her jaw tightened. She picked up the pen. Her hand shook. Just a little. She signed once, twice, 3 times. Then she handed the paper back. The judge compared them side by side, slowly, methodically. He didn't rush. And the longer he looked, the worse Karen's expression became. Her lips parted. She swallowed. Finally, the judge looked up. "These signatures," he said calmly, "match your handwriting." Karen shook her head. "No, they don't. That's not—" "And this forged signature," he continued, tapping the original document, "does not." He paused. "But it does share stroke characteristics with the way you write capital letters." Karen's voice cracked. "That's a coincidence." The judge didn't raise his voice. "Didn't need to." "Mrs. Whitmore," he said, "you claimed under oath that you personally witnessed the plaintiff sign this document in an office that was closed, on a date with no scheduled meeting. And now forensic evidence indicates the signature was copied." The judge leaned forward. "This court does not tolerate deception." Karen's face drained of color. Karen's attorney stood abruptly. "Your Honor, my client would like to amend her statement." The judge raised an eyebrow. "Amend it how?" Karen grabbed the edge of the table. I might have mistaken the date," she said quickly. "It's possible the document was signed earlier and filed later." My attorney stood. "Your Honor," he said sharply, "she just contradicted her sworn testimony." The judge looked at Karen. "You were certain of the date before," he said. Karen's breathing quickened. "I was under stress," she snapped. "Running an HOA is difficult. People don't understand how much responsibility—" "Answer the question," the judge said firmly. Karen opened her mouth, closed it. Then she exploded. "Fine," she shouted. "Maybe I signed it for him. He owed the money anyway." The courtroom erupted. Gasps, murmurs, shock. The judge slammed his gavel. "Order!" Karen froze. Her realization hit her all at once. She hadn't just admitted to forging a document. She'd admitted it on record, under oath. The judge turned to the bailiff. "Please step forward." Karen's eyes widened. No, wait, this is being taken out of context. The judge stood. This court finds probable cause for forgery, fraud, and perjury. Karen backed away. You can't do this. I run the HOA. The bailiff placed a hand on her arm. She jerked away. I'm a respectable woman. The bailiff didn't argue. He reached for the handcuffs. The metallic click echoed through the room. I'll never forget the sound. Karen was led out of the courtroom in handcuffs. Her heels scraped the floor. Her face burned red with humiliation. People stared. Some whispered. Some shook their heads. The judge dismissed the case against me immediately. The lien was voided. The fines were erased. But that wasn't the end. Not even close. Within weeks, everything collapsed. Karen was removed as HOA president. An audit revealed multiple falsified documents. Other homeowners came forward. Fines reversed. Homes freed from liens. Karen's charges stuck. Forgery. Fraud. Perjury. She accepted a plea deal. Lost her position. Lost her credibility. Lost her power. And most importantly, she learned something she never thought possible. HOA authority ends at the courtroom door. The law doesn't care how loud you yell or how many rules you think you own. Justice only cares about the truth. And this time, the truth signed her name right back to her.